Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm on a little bit early because I'm just checking the technology. You know how it goes. Technology always has some issues or some things that we have to work through. So, welcome. If you are on the page and you are watching live, welcome. You just click. Oh, okay. I'm just checking to make sure that you guys can see the live. Okay, so it looks like it is showing up on the page. So I am excited. If you are seeing the video, again, we're actually not starting until 1. I'm actually just on here for tech check. Tech check. But if you are an early bird and you are seeing the video, please let me know because I am checking the technology. So I just want to make sure that you guys can see me, can hear me, and everything is working well. So if you want to just put in the comment box, yes, if you can see me and if you can hear me, because that will help me to know that it is working well. I did check on my side and it seems to be working well, but I just want to make sure that it's working for everyone else. So if you could let me know in the comment section, that would be great. I might not have anyone on right now because, as I said, I kind of logged in 5 minutes early just to do a tech check because we all know how things go. So, so I'll just wait and see. Like I said, everything seems to be working on the page, but I just want to make sure that it is working and people can hear me and see me. So if you are watching the recording and you can't make it to the live, as I mentioned, we're a couple of minutes early and the session starts at 1 and it's like 12:57. But welcome and thank you for taking the time to watch the replay. I know everyone is super busy and some people will not be able to make it on live. So I do want to just make sure I say hi and welcome to the people that are watching on the replay. I am super excited for the interview series today and this entire week for that matter because it's all about joy and can't we do with some joy in our lives? I feel like what has been going on in the world has been so heavy for the last I want to say what are we in 2022? For the last 2 years things have been super heavy. So knowing that we can activate joy is, one of the main reasons that I really wanted to create this interview series and really create and cultivate a joyful business because the world can be heavy and it can be hard. So I want to make sure that we're having conversations about joy and what that really looks like. Meaningful, deep conversations about joy and really living a joyful life. And most importantly, as entrepreneurs and business owners, having a joyful business. So that's what this Create and Cultivate a Joyful Business interview series is all about. So, again, if you are watching live, if you could just help me out and make sure that the technology is working by simply putting in the chat box that you can hear me, that you can see me. I popped on a little bit early just to do a tech check. I did check the page myself and the video is there. So I just want to make sure that other people can see and hear me. So welcome. I am so excited for today and this entire week. Audra, I keep saying Audra. I think it's Adra. I did that on our podcast interview too. Adra, I'm so glad that you are on live and you can be here for the tech check part because technology is crazy, right? We love it, but sometimes it has hiccups. And I know some people have reached out to me about having issues with emails. So I'm just hoping that everything is going to work smoothly and we're going to have a great session today, later today at 2 o'clock and also throughout the week. So thank you so much for confirming that with me, Adra, that you can hear me and you can see me. Adra is one of our speakers this week. She's going to be on tomorrow at 1. So I'm excited. And she's always bubbly and full of joy. So I'm excited to have her on. And she says, I know, sorry, oh, no, you weren't bugging me at all. You helped me to make sure things are working correctly. So definitely thank you for watching on the live. I know a lot of people are busy and some people cannot make it to the live. The great thing is the replay is going to be available on this same page. It's going to be available today and through the rest of the week. So one of the things I wanted to do with this event is, sometimes when you join those summits or series, they give you a very limited window into how long you can watch the interviews. And they give you like 24 hours or 48 hours. For me, that's always like tense. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to watch the videos in the next 24 hours or 48 hours before it goes down. I didn't want to do that for this event. I wanted you guys to be at ease and be able to watch the videos for the entire week. So all of these videos, my video today, the video later today, they're all going to be up through the entire week. One of the things I do know and understand, though, is we're all super busy. So if you do not have the availability to watch it this week, I am offering All Access Pass. So what does All Access Pass mean? It means past this week, you still will have access to all the good content that we're going to be sharing this week. You're going to have access to the audios, the videos, and even some extra handouts from each session. So that is something that you can do if you want to catch the All Access Pass. That's just an additional fee if you want to go ahead and opt into that if your schedule is busy this week, which I totally understand. So again, welcome. We are officially starting, especially since I have confirmation that you guys can see me and you guys can hear me. We are going to officially start and welcome you to the Create and Cultivate a Joyful Business. Super excited to have each and every one of you on. So the idea of this Create and Cultivate a Joyful Business came to me from the Holy Spirit. Most of my ideas when it comes to business is definitely a divine download, as my business bestie, who I believe is watching, always says. It was a divine download from God to really create this interview series, which is all about creating and cultivating a joyful business. So I welcome you. If you're watching on the live, feel free to put comments in the chat box. I want this to be engaging. It's not about me just talking to you guys or the speakers talking to you. Definitely comment, definitely put your questions, because I will be continuously checking the chat box throughout the interview. So welcome to the Create and Cultivate a Joyful Business series. As I was saying earlier, hey, Carol, thank you so much. Carol is like my business bestie in all things great. She helps me with the technology. So she is the amazing person that gets the technology to work behind the scenes. We all need a Carol in our life, right? And then I see Quip. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Quip Corner. I'm not sure if that's with Ada. So welcome. Glad you are here on the live. Excited to kick off this interview series all about creating and cultivating a joyful business. And when I came on earlier, I kind of talked a little bit about, why, especially now, focusing on joy is so important. It has just been super heavy for the last 2 years or so. Can we all agree with that? It has been super heavy for the last 2 years with the pandemic, just so many things going on worldwide. A war, shootouts. It's just crazy that we really have to take time to focus on joy. Otherwise, we can go crazy in this insane world. So I really feel that's why God led me to this concept of create and cultivate a joyful business. So who am I? For those of you who are watching, and this is the first time you're coming in contact with me, I am Nadine Mullings. I am actually the owner of Nadine Mullings Marketing Agency. And what I do in my agency is I help women of faith in business with their marketing, specifically strategies, being specific, and being spirit-led. That really is my thing. How can we as women of faith in business be more strategic, be more specific, and be spirit-led when it comes to running our business? That is my joy, and that's how I show up in the marketplace through my joyful business at Nadine Mullings Marketing Agency. I'm also the founder of the Women Faith Plus Business community, which includes a podcast and a Facebook group. And many of you may have listened to the podcast or are in the Facebook group. So I'm also the founder of that. And Quip says, Yes, and the connect to Audra is a divine connect. Audra is an amazing divine connection. I'll tell our backstory when we talk tomorrow. So when we chat tomorrow, you will have the backstory of Audra. So welcome again. That was my introduction of who I am, who I serve in the world, and a little bit about why I started this Create and Cultivate a Joyful Business series. So let's kind of talk about what's going on in the world. I kind of alluded to that, but there is actually a major shift going on. When anything bad happens in life, I always feel there's an upside. It sounds crazy, but there is an upside, and that's what this Joy series is all about, the upside, right? So there currently is a major shift going on in the world. Let me know if you guys notice this shift. What is happening because of the pandemic is people are tapping into what really brings me joy in life. What's most important for me in life? I need to focus on these things. This is what people are shifting their mindset to. And that's why this major shift is happening in the world right now. If you've noticed, we're currently going through a great resignation, right? That is the title they've put on it. The great resignation is people resigning from jobs that they've been in for many years, but realizing that's not really where they want to be. And there's opportunity out there in the marketplace, opportunity to be more in alignment with what they feel God is telling them to do in the marketplace at this time. So the first shift really is the great resignation. And Quip says it's all about reprioritizing, definitely reprioritizing to what's most important and what is going to give us most joy, because life is short. We've realized this through the pandemic with the people that we've lost in our lives because of the pandemic, everything that we've gone through. We realize that life is short, so it's important to prioritize, as Quip said. So the first shift is shifting into jobs or careers or businesses that's going to be more joyful. The second shift, which I hadn't really mentioned too much when I sent out emails and even on the landing page for this event, is a relationship shift. Have you guys noticed that there's a shift in a lot of relationships? People are really coming to terms with what they want, what they need, what they desire when it comes to relationships, and then making shifts as necessary. Making shifts, whether that means getting engaged, whether that means getting married, whether that means ending something that wasn't in alignment with God's will and God's way in their life. They're shifting relationships. So relationships is another major shift that's happening right now. I don't know if there's a title for this shift. If you guys know of a title for this shift when it comes to people making decisions when it comes to relationships, definitely let me know in the chat box. But I have seen the movement of people really adjusting relationships in their life, mainly like personal, intimate relationships. I hate to say it, but a lot of people have gotten divorced through the pandemic. So there has been a lot of shifting when it comes to relationships and what people desires. The third thing is shift in location. This has been another thing that people have realized, and during the pandemic, they've made decisions to relocate, to change where they live, change their lifestyle. Some people have moved from the city into the suburbs. They've moved from crowded locations into the countryside. That is one of the reasons why we're having this crazy home, what's the word for it? I guess housing. I don't want to call it a crisis because it's not really a crisis. But a lot of people looking to purchase houses, and this major shift going on with people reprioritizing their location and where they want to physically be in life. And the fourth thing I have listed down here that is a major shift that's happening right now is the things that they're choosing to do. People are choosing to do things that bring them joy. What brings you joy in life? Really seeking out and understanding these things and doing these things. We're seeing a lot of people shifting to really think about that, focus on that, and do that. So that is why this conversation and this interview series is so important. Creating and cultivating a joyful business and having this conversation about joy is so important because we are going through a major shift right now. I just talked about 4 major shifts that we're going through. Job market shifts, with the Great Resignation, relationships, people, breaking up, people get engaged, people getting married. I know that happens all the time, but there's more of it happening now. And if you guys can feel it, let me know in the chat. Because like I said, I want this to be engaging and not just me sharing information with you guys, but you guys really chiming in with your thoughts, feelings, and questions about this topic. We also talked about location, people really shifting to locations that make them happy, locations that bring them joy, and what they're doing in life and in the world. So that is why this conversation is super important and why this interview series is important and why I'm excited to have each and every one of you here, all of the speakers that you're going to hear from this entire week, everyone that's joining live, welcome, welcome, everyone that's joining on the replay. And I'd love if you're joining live, if you could just tell us where you're joining from right now. Where is your happy location? Where are you currently located in the world? Just drop it in the chat so I have an idea of where you guys are listening in from, where you guys are viewing in from. That's always nice to see. So if you want to drop it in the chat, and the chat should be at the very bottom of this video. So you have the ability to engage. I do see several people already engaging in the chat. The way we designed this interview series is to make sure that we have a live chat on this page. This is a quiet page, and the reason why we designed it this way and not to have you go on Facebook or on YouTube, because those places are noisy and can be a distraction. So we wanted to create a safe space for you guys to come every day this week for the interview series where we can connect and talk without the distraction of social media. So I just chiming in from Canada. I see Adra, I'm going to get it right, Adra's logging in from Woodbridge, Virginia. I know Carol is logging in from Atlanta, Georgia. And I see Quip Corner says, and there's a nice rhythm ring to it. Oh, you're welcome. You are so welcome, definitely. So let's get into some of the content for today. So I'm going to be talking a lot about joy and specifically creating and cultivating a joyful business. Because a lot of the people that are in this series and those who are joining us live and also on the replay are entrepreneurs and business owners. We have been called to the marketplace as entrepreneurs and business owners. So this series is going to have a focus on business, right? Creating and cultivating a joyful business. But a lot of what we're going to be discussing can be life in general, right? Creating and cultivating a joyful life. But I really wanted it to be focused on business because we are entrepreneurs and business owners. So we're really going to focus on that. So I wanted to start off by really defining some things. Let's make some definitions. The first definition is happy versus joy. A lot of times we hear those words being used interchangeably, but I know we're going to go a lot deeper this week into the difference between happy and joy. But I wanted to give you guys a definition from dictionary.com. So we are all aware of how happiness is defined and how joy is defined. I thought it was a good starting point to kick off this interview series all about cultivating and creating joy. So happy, according to dictionary.com, is defined as delighted, pleased, or glad over a particular thing. This is key, guys. I want you to remember this definition when it says happy is delighted, pleased, or glad over a particular thing, characterized by or inductive of pleasure, contentment, and or joy. So they do use the word joy in the definition. So joy is delighted, pleased, or glad over a particular thing. Happy is delighted, pleased, or glad over a particular thing. Joy, according to dictionary.com, is defined as the emotion of great delight or happiness caused by something exceptionally good or satisfying, keen pleasure, or elation. So joy is being defined by dictionary.com as delight and happiness caused by something exceptionally good or satisfying, keen pleasure, or elation. So I really want us to pay attention to the definition of happiness and the definition of joy. And because I am faith based, as a woman of faith in business, I always look at things from a biblical perspective. So you will see a lot of times in events that I host that I will talk about scripture too, because that is where I'm coming from as a woman of faith in business. The Bible has so much wisdom that we can glean on and learn from and apply, that it's only important that we also make sure that we know biblically what these things mean. So, biblically, in Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 through 23, it talks about the fruit of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is a gifting that we get as believers. And the fruit of the Holy Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. Against such thing there is no law. So you will see that joy is one of the fruits that we are gifted with when we have the Holy Spirit as a believer. So I definitely wanted to bring out that point when it comes to joy. And then I wanted to also explain the difference between joy and happiness from a faith-based perspective. So this is from a faith-based perspective. What is the difference between joy and happiness? It is actually choosing to respond to external circumstances. So whatever is happening externally with inner contentment and satisfaction. Because we know that God will use experiences. God will use every external circumstance to accomplish his work in and through our lives. How amazing is that? I just want to check in with you guys as to how you feel. Oh, I see Adria saying I'm freezing on occasion. Let me know if you guys are all experiencing some freezing issues. If not, I'm going to continue and hope the technology works fine. Let me know if anyone else is experiencing any freezing issues. Just put it in the chat. It may just be Adria's connection, but let me know. So I'm going to repeat that. The difference between joy and happiness is this. Joy is choosing. You have a choice. You get to choose how you respond to external circumstances. So as business owners and entrepreneurs, we will always have external circumstances. Quip Corner, I see you said it's working fine for you. Thank you so much. So Adria, you might want to check your connection. Maybe a connection issue why I'm freezing. So choosing. So we have a choice. That is the first thing that I'm going to put out there as a tip for everyone that's watching. We have a choice to choose joy. So choosing to respond to any external circumstance. Think about what's going on in your life right now, what's going on in your business right now. You have a choice. You have a decision in how you respond to that. You can actually respond to that with joy, with inner contentment and satisfaction. Why can you respond to an external circumstance with inner contentment and satisfaction? Because you know that God will use all things. This is what he says in scripture. He will use all things to our benefit to accomplish his work in and through our lives. So to me, that's just like a sigh of relief. How many people can relate to that? It's like, I just feel like sitting back and saying like, wow, that is a sigh of relief, knowing that I can make a decision to really choose joy no matter what. No matter what. So we're going to really look at the specifics and really go deep this week as to choosing joy in every circumstances. So as entrepreneurs and business owners, one of the things that I also wanted to talk about is what is a joyful business? You know, we're talking about creating and cultivating a joyful business. So I'd love for you to put in the chat, what is a joyful business to you? Because everyone may have a different definition of what a joyful business is. So if you can and you're able to use the chat below this video and let me know, what is the definition of a joyful business to you? I would love to get your feedback and your input as to what a joyful business feels like, what a joyful business should be for you in particular. So if you need a moment to think about it, or if you're typing it in the chat, go ahead and do that. But definitely let us know, what is a joyful business to you? here's what I said a joyful business is when I talked about this Create and Cultivate a Joyful Business interview series. Number one, it's really allows you to show up on your own terms. A lot of times we choose the path of entrepreneurship and business ownership for freedom, right? We have the freedom to show up in the marketplace how we choose to show up. That is the blessing and the joy of entrepreneurship. We don't have to show up at a job and do the things that a boss tells us to do. We have freedom to show up in the marketplace the way that we choose to show up in the marketplace. So let me take some comments in the chat and get some feedback from people as in regards to what a joyful business is. So Quip's Corner with Ada, I think it's Ada, says a joyful business is one that creates and exudes joy. I love that. Stepping into a business that just creates joy, right? That is awesome. Carol says having a business that I love doing and can't wait to tell people about it, and services I want and love to do, and that is what I have now. Awesome, Carol. And that is true. Stepping into a business that you love to do. So many entrepreneurs and business owners create a job for themselves and then they begin to hate what they're doing, right? They begin to be stressed out by what they're doing. They don't have joy in what they're doing. So I love what Carol says, that it really is having a business that you love what you're doing. You can't wait to tell people what you do and how you can help them and how your services help them. That is what a joyful business really is. Adra says that feeling like at the end of the day you have served well and made your customers happy. Served well. Let that really sink into your spirit. Serving well, making your customers happy, doing what you love, that really is a joyful business. The entrepreneur's joy is palatable. It is so our joy shows up from the inside out. I love that quip. It's definitely from the inside out that our joy is showing up. Love, love, love all the responses that you guys are putting in the chat when it comes to a joyful business and defining a joyful business for yourself. So I'm not here to dictate to you what your joyful business needs to look like, but you need to take time to think about it. If you've never thought fully and meditated and sat with it and say, what does a joyful business look like to me? What does a joyful business feel like to me? A lot of times when we visualize, that is really when things come to pass, right? I hate to use the word manifest because it seems so like popular now, but that really is how we manifest things, is by really feeling the way that we need to feel about something. So really sitting into, what does it feel like to have a joyful business? Waking up in the morning, being excited to get started, loving the clients that you work with, loving what you do. All those things help to make a joyful business. Some other things that's already been mentioned in the chat is serving your clients well. I wrote that down as something that's a joyful business, knowing that the work that you do in the world is really helping people. I honestly feel at the underlying core of every business owner is a desire to help people, right? That is the underlying core of us as entrepreneurs, as business owners with this marketplace assignment. We're just here to help, to provide a solution. I heard someone say recently in an interview that he's a solutionist. He provides solutions. And I love that word. We're just providing solutions and helping people. And that really is a joy. It really is. Now, here's something I want to touch on, which is really the way that the world looks at business and that us as people of faith should really be looking at business. And that is hustle and grind. A lot of times as business owners, the world gives a perception that in order to be a successful entrepreneur and business owner, you have to be hustling, right? You have to hustle to get customers, hustle to market, hustle all the way. That's what you need to do. Always be working, always be doing. There's that hustling and grinding aspect of the way the world tells us that you should really do your business. That is absolutely the opposite of a joyful business. There are definitely times where we have to work hard. There's no denying that. There are times when you're up late. There's times where you're working on the weekend. There are times where you have to put in that extra work and that extra effort. But if your business is hustling and grinding, and you're consistently hustling and grinding, that actually is the opposite of a joyful business. It really is not it really is not a joyful business. Not only is it not a joyful business when you're hustling and you're grinding, but it's also a health hazard. God requires us to rest and to rest consistently. So if you're just constantly working on your business and hustling and grinding, you're not resting at all. So it's important that you rest. So a joyful business is one that does not require hustling and grinding. Another thing that I want to mention when it comes to a joyful business is ease and flow. Ease and flow. Being an entrepreneur and a business owner is not easy. All of us know that, right? There's definitely ups and downs on this entrepreneurial journey. But there's a flow to it, especially when you're in partnership with God, right? When you are in partnership with the person who created the entire world, he's not going to make it difficult. In fact, his word says to bring our burdens to him, to lay it on him, right? So because God desires us to bring burdens on him, he desires us, our businesses, to be really run with ease and flow. Ease and flow. I mean, just even saying that to me gives me peace, right? It gives me peace knowing that it's not supposed to be super difficult. It's not supposed to be super hard. It really is partnership with God. And when we're partnering with the most powerful person ever, the creator of the universe, he's going to make sure that our business runs with ease and flow. So that is another thing that really helps to define a joyful business. It's also lighter and more fun. When you guys put in the chat box what a joyful business means to you, none of it seemed heavy to me. None of it seemed like hard. It seemed joyful. It seemed fun. It seemed lighter. And that really is what a joyful business is. It's light, it's fun, it's something that we enjoy doing. But statistics show that not a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs are running a joyful business that is lighter, that is fun. So we're really going to be talking about throughout this entire week and this entire interview series, what does it look like? What does it need to look like to make sure you're staying in that place of ease, of love, of flow, and fun? What are some of the ways that we can make sure as entrepreneurs and business owners that we're staying in that place? So that's just some of the things that make up a joyful business. And I honestly cannot wait to get the insights from our experts. The entire week, we're going to talk to 6 joy experts. These are individuals that their work is around joy. So I just came on and explained joy from a definition standpoint, a biblical standpoint, and some key points of what a joyful business is. But our joy experts are going to go a lot deeper this week as to what a joyful business is and what it looks like to not only create a joyful business, but sustain a joyful business, cultivate a joyful business. So we will be hearing from amazing speakers this entire week. All of them, as I mentioned, are joy experts. So I kind of just want to make sure you guys know how this week is going to flow. So this page is actually the page that all the sessions are going to be on. So you will receive a daily email with a link to this page and access to all the videos. This is also the same page that you can come back to watch any of the sessions that you miss. So if you miss any of the sessions this week, come back to this page and you can access these sessions throughout the week. As I mentioned, I didn't want this to be an interview series or the type of summit where it disappears quickly and you can't get access to it anymore. So you're going to have access to all the videos through the end of the week. All the videos will be accessible on this page through the end of the week. Each day we start at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So when you come to the page, the same way that you saw this video here, you will see the next session video on this page at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have that session. Usually the sessions are going to run probably between 45 minutes to maybe an hour. And then the next session is at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So every day we'll have two sessions, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this same page. So I just want to make sure logistics wise, you guys know how to access everything. You know how to get here. If you're watching the replay, that you know how to access the videos on this page. So I am excited because coming up next, we're going to have a happiness advocate. And she's really going to be talking to us about happiness and specifically joy also. And her name is Violet Duterre. I hope I'm saying her last name right. Duterre. I think I'll get her correct pronunciation at 2 o'clock. So she's going to be coming up at 2 o'clock and really going into her expertise. Because again, I'm not the joy expert here. And that's why I invited 6 amazing speakers to help us work through what it looks like to create and cultivate joy. If you have questions at any time throughout any of the interviews in my sessions, in the interview sessions, just drop it in the chat box. Again, this is really about engaging. So it's not just us talking to you guys about joy, but really engaging throughout the interview series. So definitely, if you have questions, drop it in the chat box, and we will be answering questions throughout each session. So you can put your questions in the chat box for each session. So that is pretty much the logistics of the interview series. On Friday, we're going to have something really special that I'm excited about, and we're actually going to have all the speakers come together for a panel. So we're going to have a panel session on Friday. So it's going to actually be everyone talking about joy and really helping us to hone in on creating and cultivating a joyful business. So that is going to happen on Friday. So Friday's session is going to be slightly different than Monday through Thursday. So I did want to open it up. If there's any specific questions that you have, this is just the opening session. So I'm going to be your host the entire week. So you will see me on with our joy experts. This is an interview series. So I'm going to be interviewing them throughout the next week or this week. So I'm going to be your host for the entire joy interview series. So if there are any questions, definitely drop it in the chat if you have any questions, any logistics, or you can reply to the email that you received. So hopefully all of you signed up. Anyone on this page should have signed up. If you want to share it with other people, this is how they sign up. They go to nadinemullings.com/joyfulbusiness and sign up on that page, and that will give them an email. I did have some people mention, I know Adra mentioned it to me, that there was some issue with the email. So definitely, if each day, if you're not seeing the email in your inbox, check your spam. Unfortunately, sometimes emails can go into spam and not in your inbox, or it can go in the promo tab. If you have a Gmail account, sometimes it gets lost in the promo tab. So you're going to be getting emails daily. So make sure you check your inbox. And if you don't see that daily email with the session link, definitely go to your spam folder. And don't forget, you do have the opportunity to upgrade to an all access pass. So what an all access pass really gives you is more time, right? Even though I've decided to let these interviews run through the entire week and you have access through Saturday, we're all busy, right? And we totally understand that. And since we are all busy, I wanted to make sure that I give you guys the opportunity to get an all access pass, which basically means lifetime access. You can come back to these videos anytime, any points that I make, any points that the speaker makes. You're actually also going to get a handout. So it gives you an outline of everything that was discussed. So you will get that as an all access pass holder. You get the audio, you get the videos, you get the handouts. So you get some bonus stuff with the all access pass. So if that is something that you're interested in signing up for, each email that you get, there's a link to sign up for the All Access Pass. But my hope is that you also join us every day live, right? If you are able to and your schedule permits, definitely join us every day live, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and then 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because it also helps to be live to engage in the comment section, right? So I can see all the amazing comments that you guys are putting in there. So definitely, if you can, come on the live. And if you have any questions, you can also reply to the daily email that you'll be receiving. But I do want to open it up, since this is just the opening session. It really is about welcoming you guys, setting the tone for this entire week, and answering any questions that you may have, because we have our first speaker coming up at 2 p.m. today. So I'm excited for Violet. She's amazing and awesome. And as I said, she's a happiness advocate. So we're going to learn what that actually means to be a happiness advocate. And we're going to learn about her story. And she's going to be sharing some of her tips, tools, and techniques to be more joyful when it comes to creating and cultivating a business. So definitely, I see someone else just popped on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just wrapping up the opening session, which is my session as your host, Nadine Mullings. And we're going to be having our first joy expert coming on at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, it gives you a few minutes to, if you want to grab a snack, do a couple of things in between now and 2 p.m. But please, please, please come back at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our first joy expert. I'm so excited for Violet and what she's going to be sharing with us at 2 p.m. on this same page. But if you do have any questions, I also want to give an opportunity for you to drop it in the chat so I can answer any logistics questions, any questions in general that you may have about the interview series this week. So definitely drop that in the chat if you have any questions for me, or reply to the email. So you should be receiving daily emails every day for the interview series once you have signed up for that. Any questions, Carol, Adra, Quip Corner, all those who are joining us now live? Definitely, if you have any questions, drop it in the chat, because I am excited, and I hope you guys are too, to really create and cultivate a joyful business. I'm super excited for this interview series. And if we don't have any questions or comments in the chat box, I'm going to invite you guys to just take a quick break. Be sure to come back at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 2 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Trust and believe. Violet is going to come with the fire as the happiness advocate and really help us to get a deeper understanding of what it means to be a joyful entrepreneur and business owner, because I think it's needed and necessary. This conversation is so important right now at this very moment because of everything that's going on in the world. You are needed, your business is needed, and creating a business that brings you joy and brings your clients joy is so important right now. It really is. That is why I feel this conversation is important and why I created this series. So I'm excited, and I hope you guys are excited too. And I hope you'll join us back in about, what is it? It's 1:38 on my clock. So we're going to be starting back again at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So do the math with wherever you are in the world or the country as to what time that is for you. We're going to be back 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this same page to have a conversation with Violet Dietrich, who is the happiness advocate. This is her expertise. So she is a happiness advocate. So I'm super excited to be talking to her at 2. Thank you so much for joining me for the opening session of the Create and Cultivate a Joyful Business. See you guys back on this page at 2. Bye.